and welcome.
It's Mad Men Sports. I understand that there's a lot of disappointed fans out there at home, but if you know one thing about Mad Men Sports, the love of the Bills remains the same.
The madness never stops.
The madness never stops. Got Diamond Dave over there. Diamond Dave's second podcast back in a row. The professor, myself, Jake. The Bills,
How did it feel to be at the stadium?
I'll tell you, I don't think I've been happier this year. This was a high point for me. Haven't been in the stadium in 2 years. Haven't been to a Bills game since 2019.
No free ads.
It's not in there. But it was beautiful being back. Zach, I assume you more of the same?
It was a low point for me.
Just being in the stadium?
The stadium itself was
Pre-game.
fine. The flyover missed. I think that's when I finally realized, like, oh no, maybe we're in trouble. Flyover missed the stadium, which was weird.
I'm interested when you say the flyover missed because they showed it on Channel 4, CBS, and they showed the flyover happen. Was it just not accurate?
It wasn't.
It must have not have been the same shot because it was like
right over our.
it was
on the side.
like the plane was like over the concourse, not over the stadium,
Yeah.
which it missed. The flyover missed. Pretty bad, I'd say. The national
But I guess-
anthem took me as a surprise because they didn't announce it. It was just a CBS
Yeah.
broadcast throughout all the league, I guess.
And I guess that's what the NFL is doing most of the year now.
Yeah, because they didn't tell
They're
us.
trying to minimize the whole players doing their own thing.
Yeah, they didn't let us know to take off our hats or anything. Most people were wearing their hats. It was. Listen, I'm not gonna say act like it was rust. People went to games last year. I know what it's like to go to a game. I felt like the game day experience
It was a little strange.
was strange. Well, that's exactly what I'd say. You know, they were talking get in there early, get in there early. Yeah, you better have gotten in there early because about half the amount of people were scanning tickets this year. Like,
We talked a lot of shit to TJ Watt today.
yeah, we talked to Ryan Dable for a little bit before the game, completely off camera. That's why he liked it. But he was doing his laps. He wanted to have a little chat with us. He allowed us to have a chat with us, and after a couple fist bumps, and I was confident. I told him he had this, and he was like, I think we do too, and I don't think he thought correctly. It was weird. We also saw some TJ Watt. I told him he was small. He went to go give me a high five. I said, psych.
And that did not fall upon deaf ears.
No, he was a little upset.
And you are the reason we lost.
I might have been. And who was that? Fairmuth?
Mm-hmm.
He went to go give a fan his gloves that were next to us, and I go, oh man, those don't work, to give them back. And I was a little rude,
I said, why are you so tall?
but in a boisterous way. Yeah, Jake's 6'4", and Fairmuth's very tall.
He's a big bitch.
So yeah, I mean the game day experience as a whole, not as much as I remember, or at least I thought I remembered it to be. It was nice to be at the stadium. It was nice to see. It was nice to be. I would say no matter what, win or loss, the game day experience in the beginning was different than it needed to be.
I'll say glad to be back.
Yeah, listen, last year versus this year, I'm glad I'm there, without a doubt. It did not fall on deaf ears, correct. It did not fall on deaf ears.
Dave, how was your game day experience? What? Give me real quick.
Give me the bumps and bruises of it.
The game day routine. What happened?
2 words.
I woke up and annoyed the shit out of my friends as I do because I'm anxious to go. They said do not come over till 11:30 because they knew I'd come over earlier than that. And we got Chevetta's chicken.
Chevetta's chicken. 2 words.
Got it catered.
Chevetta's chicken, that's the
I didn't know we were
experience.
doing 2 words. I thought
I said
you guys
2 words.
asked for my whole experience.
In 30
No,
seconds.
no, not the full experience.
Very excited was my routine today.
Very good was my routine. Listen, we're back into it. I think, what about the Bills experience? How do you think the Bills handled their game day experience with fans back
I think
in
they
the
were
stands?
also very excited.
I'm gonna say Stephon Diggs was loving it.
He
You
was
saw him going around the stadium, 360 degrees, throwing the ball, playing catch, throwing the ball to unexpected cameramen. Just no look, shuffle pass, hit a cameraman right in the chest.
Here comes a fine.
No, Stephon Diggs was
It was
definitely
playful.
happy to have the home crowd
It's first time.
feeling
isn't it?
Bills Mafia. Yep.
For the first time with full, and maybe it was a little too much for him.
And we came,
Maybe not him.
We came correct.
Yeah.
Did
I would say the
Bills come
fans did
correct?
their job. 71,000 plus did their job. I don't know if the 22, I mean, what are we talking about? I don't think that 33 did their job.
No.
We'll even go as deep as the 53. I would say the 53 to 47 man roster did not completely
But you
exceed expectations.
you listen to the callers on GR, you read the stuff on the Bills Mafia Facebook page.
Sky's not falling.
Sky is not falling. It was not a disgusting performance, as we heard on WGR. Was it disappointing? Was there a lot of hype leading up into the season? Were we expecting Super Bowl team? Were we expecting MVP out of Allen? Yes. And do we still expect those things? Sure. We played against a very good team in the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They won the division last year. They won a tough
They
division.
started out 11-0.
The AFC North is a tough division. Baltimore, Cleveland, Bengals.
The game started out good. McKenzie had the nice return there.
Yeah.
They got injured. The first half, I thought, was very conservative on both teams. Both teams felt like they were literally playing a chess match. They were both scared is the word I want to use.
I'll pick up at that chess match comment because I want to start off where the game day started off a little bit. Are you guys surprised with the Zach Moss inactive?
No. I look at Zach Moss and Devin Singletary as the same player, specifically more so since Devin Singletary bulked up. I think Matt Breida being active was the best choice because it gives you kind of like the opposite spectrum. You get the bruising power of Devin Singletary, but you get the speedness of Matt Breida.
What do you think? Were you surprised by the Zach Moss?
Completely surprised. You hear all offseason, Capaccio, all the big wigs say it's a 50-50 split down the middle, and then all of a sudden Zach Moss is inactive. And my first reaction was, I looked at my friends, and it is overreaction, was just freaking trade him to Baltimore. They need a running back. That was my reaction. I don't understand why he was inactive. I think that was a poor decision. Breida, I don't think highly of Breida. We saw the 4th and 1 play today. Not necessarily his fault, but a poor decision on the coaching staff, which we'll get to. I was completely shocked. Were you?
I feel like there was. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say I know the game plan. I don't necessarily know if the Bills necessarily knew the full game plan today, in terms of what they were trying to do on offense. But I think that you have a very high asset in Zach Moss. You drafted him high. You expect to get a little bit of production out of a guy you draft that high. It's his second year, first game. What are you doing?
Well, let me ask you this: the Bills had several 4th and 1s today. Some they didn't even go for, and some 4th and short. Moss is kind of the bigger back. Do you think the game plan would have changed? Those decisions would have been different if he was in the game?
No.
I think at some points they're looking around looking for someone to make a play. I'm not going to say that Zach Moss is always going to make a play, but I think you have to look at what was going on today in terms of not having Stephon Tuitt for the Steelers and thinking maybe if I had a guy that I could trust running up the gut. Now, granted, he missed the end of last season. There's some pros and cons to Zach Moss, but the fact that you're not even going to have him active 1 year into drafting him, I feel like that's a tainted asset. Now, I don't know his health. Apparently, it was a healthy scratch. As Sean McDermott put it, numbers, just numbers. If it's a numbers game, maybe we can trim, I don't know, one of the 2 linemen that didn't play, or 3 linemen that didn't play, or 4
Or Tommy Sweeney.
Yeah, like we didn't even use the tight ends other than Dawson
I
Knox.
look at it as an easy decision. Devin Singletary shined during the preseason.
Oh, 100%. And listen, I'm not saying him or Singletary.
Yeah, but I think Matt Breida has a spot on this team, and they want to use him. So when it comes down to Devin Singletary or Zach Moss, now they might be alternating. I doubt we see
That would be dope.
both of them.
You need to get these running backs a rhythm.
I don't think so because we barely use them.
Think that you're going to have 3 running backs. And today they went in the game with 3 running backs. But you could cut it down to 2 because Tywan Jones is just strictly a special teamer.
Yeah, I wasn't considering him. I was talking
100%.
Zach Moss, Devin, and Matt.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're going to go to a game with 2, that's what I'm saying. You have 3 running backs who went into today, and you cut out Tywan Jones. You're going to play a game with 2 running backs. And now listen, I understand they don't run a lot, but 2 running backs is not a winning formula. I don't care I don't care if they're the same. Listen, we can always play Monday morning quarterback too. Yeah, and listen, maybe if they win, the Singletary solo move is a great move, but I just feel like if all things are even, just have him play and not someone like Tommy Sweeney. Like, listen, I get that they didn't even use the tight ends. That's the part that bothered me. I don't think that I didn't trust their offensive game plan today, and I feel like part of the inactive list of Zach Moss being on there, and I don't want to hang it. Listen, Zach Moss isn't a world beater. I don't want to spend more time on this than we need to, but I feel like it hampered your offense a little bit today. I'm not going to say that that was the reason why we lost, but not having his skill set available maybe might have been a difference maker.
Well, the interesting thing is
Because he is an asset, you know what I mean?
it is week 1. This could be what it is going forward. Zach Moss could be inactive the entire rest of the year. Usually inactives are the 6, I think it's 5 guys, who are just consistently the inactive guys the rest of the year unless injuries happen. So I hope it's not the case. I hope they want to mix it up a little, but I also feel like we talked about Zach Moss a little too much.
Let's talk about something that you told me at least 20 times during the game. Emmanuel Sanders finding himself open numerous occasions.
I'm telling you, you saw it.
I think that's something you only see when you're at the game, though. So tell us about
And
it.
that's fine. You obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to explain. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders was open all first half. You start the third quarter, he's open in the third quarter. Like, I'm not gonna say that Josh Allen had a tough game, and I said it last year. Just do the fans have an impact on Josh Allen's hype, psyche, whatever you want to call it? And maybe he gets a little jazzed up, and that's fine to get jazzed up. You're playing a game for a living. Be excited, be happy. It's all about emotions.
Well, yeah, and let's talk about that. What do you guys think of Josh Allen's play today? And was he the reason we lost?
I mean, you went 25 for 44-ish.
Yeah,
that's not great.
And you know what? Well, 25-44. So let's say he missed on 20 passes. At least 7 of those, Emmanuel Sanders was open. I'm not going to say he's going to catch every one. One of the ones he did catch, or did get thrown to when he was open, as soon as he got contact, he dropped it. Like, I just feel like there's a huge drop-off of consistency out of the reads and the production produced out of the reads. Today especially. I feel like those slants with Beasley and Diggs were working, and then they kind of got away from them towards, like, they were going too much on the outs. Focus on the ends. Cole Beasley was very productive. He had 7 catches today, I believe, or 6.
We should preface this by saying the sky isn't falling. We aren't worried about this unless this becomes a trend. This is week 1.
Yeah, you need something to look at.
You look back historically, the Bills have struggled week 1 consistently. I mean,
100%.
they struggled against the Jets the last couple years. Yeah, so do we all think here at Mad Men Sports the Bills are going to turn around and be a good football team? Yes.
I think they are a good football team. They're not going to turn around and beat.
I think there's a bunch of positives that we haven't even talked about yet. The defense looks stellar. They only let up, 13 points because the fake punt or the block punt.
3 first downs in the first half.
I don't think what I said is
Yeah, they allowed 3 first downs. That's a huge plus. It was, listen, without the score, if you would have looked at the stats as a whole game or half by half, you would think that the Bills really put a hurting on them.
Ed Oliver looked good for a change.
Ed Oliver looked good.
And there's 100 of positives on the defense.
He could only be better with stars if he's back ever.
When I talk about the Zach Moss thing, when I talk about the Sanders thing, these are things that maybe next week we should look at and see, did they come to the adjustment? Is that still happening? Are they making any changes? So I want you to think.
You just have to be aware of possible
trends. Exactly.
trends.
I want you to think a little bit, So there is positives, there is negatives. I feel like at halftime, me and Jake were having a conversation. I don't feel like I very much thought that they were being a good football team. I wouldn't call the Buffalo Bills in the first half a good football team.
No.
They were playing very poor.
They did enough.
10-0, but they were being very poor.
And I really wanted them to carry that momentum from that last drive that they had on offense right before the half into the third.
Yeah.
But of course, obviously, that didn't come to fruition, which is super frustrating. I don't know, it's just tough to... Go ahead.
My 2 frustrations of the game are the offensive line. I talked about it the entire time after the game. And Levi Wallace. Do you guys think Levi Wallace is becoming or it's one game again, but do you guys think Levi Wallace should be considered maybe not starting next game?
No. Levi Wallace is a great starting quarterback for the Bills system. They have
blown on so much coverage.
They have, listen, you say that, but the Steelers are stacked at wide receiver. They're stacked at weapons. So the bottom line is they have all right, let's talk about Fairmouth. They have Smith-Schuster. They have Deontay Johnson, who's their best wide receiver. Chase Claypool. They're stacked. So when you talk about picking on them, I mean, I need these guys to be picked on just because of the quick passes.
Chase Claypool catch where he
over
lost him. Beautiful catch.
There's nothing you can do for
that. He was on him like glue. There's nothing you could do with that. It was just great. Just like the Gabe Davis touchdown was a great catch.
And you know what? I'll even back it up by saying I think that the defensive pass interference against Levi Wallace on the touchdown drive of the Steelers, that was a terrible call. I didn't look at it more than just at the stadium. That was a bad call.
A terrible call was the one where Trey White got the interception and someone got called for holding. I don't remember.
He got
who
called for
got
holding. That was the bullshit.
That was a terrible call, and that isn't the game changer, but that could have changed a lot.
That would have been a game changer.
Deion Dawkins himself had three holding penalties.
The offensive line had a whole drive. I think it was the third drive of the game for the Bills. It was just so many. I think 4 penalties on holding.
I was just frustrated with the amount of times they were shooting themselves in the foot almost willingly. Spencer Brown got in the game. I didn't think he played poor.
No, but he came in special packages.
Yeah, he was your swing left tackle. He was your swing tackle.
Mitch Morse played poor. He let a lot of coverage go.
I cannot believe that they're still rolling out John Feliciano. How many times do I have to say it? What do you have, 2 holdings? How many times do I have to say it? He's not good. And how many times do they have to get bull rushed up the middle with him not being good? And they signed him to a 3-year, $17 million deal. I feel like it's a bad move. I said it was a bad move in the spring. And everyone's like, oh, John Feliciano's back. John Feliciano
freaking stinks, he says.
But to add to
sucks. And I feel like you need to replace him. I don't think they did enough in the offseason to address the offensive line that wasn't even that good last year. Was not that good last year. They were good enough. Maybe they're moving pieces. Cody Ford was 0 holding calls today. I thought Cody Ford was and I am as critical as anyone on Cody Ford. Blocked on Twitter. I have never tweeted at him. He must have watched the show a couple times. I am very critical of Cody Ford. I blocked on Twitter. I think he was our best lineman hands down today.
I do want to give kudos to the defensive line.
I was just going to say, we talked about that in the offseason. Do you think they improved?
Pittsburgh Steelers got rid of the ball. Ben Roethlisberger got rid of the ball very fast. Pressure was still applied. You go against a team that likes to hold on to the ball, let plays develop downfield, you're going to get pressure, you're going to get quarterback hits, you're going to get sacks.
Addison was back there probably the most of any other player.
Greg Rousseau played very well, almost picked off a screen.
Pass.
Yeah, swing pass.
You know what? In the first quarter, I'll minimize it in micro. In the first quarter, Greg Rousseau was a difference maker immediately. And I like that he was in the starting package with Jerry Hughes on the opposite side. And then they rotated Mario Addison, and I think he got a sack. Super Mario did get a sack.
Mario got a sack. Poyer got a sack.
And I think Mario Addison had a fantastic game today. Ed Oliver was a disruptor in the run game, and I cannot believe how proud I was of Ed Oliver because it was finally time to start ringing some bells this season, and he came correct this year 100%.
Jermaine Edmonds even played well.
Some big hits.
Matt Milano was fantastic in coverage today. Yeah. Now, granted, I think that when we talk next fall, or next spring, when we're talking, do we need a running back in the first round? Do we need a running back in the first round? Look at Pittsburgh. Look at what Najee Harris did today. No, you do not need a running back in the first round.
Well, I think they have 3 guys in Pittsburgh now like us talking about the same thing. And they're probably saying Bill's defense was unstoppable. So they can't get a real read of their offense either. Najee Harris showed glimpses. He had the catch that was a drop. Could have been a touchdown.
It would have been a touchdown. He had no one in front of him.
So I don't want to say Najee Harris is a complete bust. And I know you're not saying that, but we did that. We had a very good game plan against him. And actually, Leslie Frazier, they had a stat in GR. Leslie Frazier has a very good game plan against any rookie running back. So I don't think Najee Harris is awful, but I think the Bills did a great defensive plan
utilizing him. I think that if you look at Big Hen, because he laid an egg in the first half. If you look at, you can't say that when you lose though. Can't say that when you lose. Big Ben, if you look at his stat line, that's a losing quarterback stat line. The defense,
he just had one try,
and the offense let them off the hook multiple times. The offense let them off the hook multiple times. The fumble by Josh Allen, the 4th and 1 that they threw it backwards. Someone told me something after the game. And I was like, you know what, that's a really interesting idea. They were trying to go for a big play there. They were trying to say, okay, we're going to stack in the middle. Defense is going to expect us to stack in the middle. I think that's why they went this way and then turned around and flipped it because I think they were trying to bait everyone in. And I just don't think they got the edge on the Sutton, the cornerback Sutton. I don't think they got the edge on him because they had Burita in that package because they wanted speed on the end.
Yeah, that was.
I think they were hoping to kick it out and have him kick it out, and if they get
Sutton, the speed to do so.
If they get Sutton walled off there, that's a touchdown on the 50-yard line.
Richie Gilliam missed that block, yes.
Reggie Gilliam did miss that block pretty bad, and it was pretty erroneous of a miss.
And I got done saying last podcast, I thought Reggie Gilliam would be
We thought so too.
Surprise player, and he could still be.
Yeah, surprise! I'm on the field.
Shout out to Chris Manhurst though.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown.
Canisius basketball alum.
Scored a touchdown today for
The
Jaguars.
Jacksonville.
So listen, the fumble by Allen. You gotta have awareness. Darrell Williams had to be better today than he was. Everyone on the offensive line.
Allen actually has a fumbling problem. We're realizing.
Well, he's got a fumbling problem because he feels like he has to do it all because the offensive line is putting pressure on him. His 2 big sacks today was because the blocking was horrible. The blocking was
the one right up the middle was tough.
That was bad. And he was trying to step up into the pocket.
It's TJ Watt.
Yeah, I mean, that was bad. So we got the fumble. We got the 4th and 1. We have the botched flea flicker, which is close, but I just need a little bit better.
He had the hands on the ball, though.
Yeah, that needs to be a little better. There was a play in the first half or the first quarter, where Josh Allen threw to Gabe Davis in triple coverage. And like you said, he did get the hands on the ball, but you have to make better decisions. There's only 11 guys on the defense. If 3 are on 1, there's a mismatch somewhere else, buddy. And then the other play was the block punt, and we could talk about that ad nauseum, but Matt Hawk has to get the ball off faster. I said it the first time he punted. I go, that was a little bit of a slow action speed there. You got to catch, drop, kick. He caught it, took a couple steps. It was, the fucking blocking in front of him was destroyed, but that was just a piss poor play. That ended the game. I don't care what happened in the last 12 minutes.
They didn't even have to put that play in slow motion.
No.
When you watched it on TV, it was slow motion. Matt Hawk just completely slowed down.
For half the people on the field.
And what concerns me is he's on a 3-year deal.
Well,
if audition number 1, you're already in slow motion, the lights are... And that's what I kept saying.
Well, lucky for us, we know that you could be the punter.
Well, coming up soon.
Wednesday show.
Damn.
Probably got to be in a day late.
Yeah, it might have to be a weekend thing.
I can get us the lights at CH Small Stadium. I got Keenan hookups. I can get us the lights.
Is it worth even giving a diamond in the rough today?
Yeah.
Jake, who's your diamond in the rough? Who would you, if you were Diamond Dave, who would you?
And it can't be Josh Allen.
No one won the ball. You're all homers. You thought Brills would win. Homers.
You said they were going to drop a 50 burger.
Yeah, I'm a homer.
I said 30-10. I'm going to give it to the new guy. I'm going to give it to Gregory Rousseau.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bills, buddy.
Good for you. Good for you. If I was Diamond Dave, I would give the diamond in the rough. Can't believe I'm saying this. Cody Ford. Can't believe I said that.
Unblock this man on Twitter.
Don't.
That's all he wants.
No, I don't. I like iron sharpens iron.
Diamond in the rough is someone that doesn't get enough credit. He had a sack today and 9 tackles. Jordan Poyer.
It's 6.
Maybe 6, but he was all over the place. He was in people's faces. He got
metaphorical.
He's the heart and soul of the defense.
I think
Poyer and Hyde don't get enough credit for what they do. So Poyer, he was all over Roethlisberger when he threw the ball.
Hot take.
Listen, he had a couple of nice blitz packages. I liked the one he got to Roethlisberger. I thought that they were going to call that an incomplete pass because they kind of spun him around at the stadium. It's a little bit of different of experience. So when it was 2nd and 20, I was like, what the hell? No, yeah. But it worked out. And I liked that they came back with it later in the game, too. I need those to hit. I didn't like when Ron Roethlisberger was running for a first down against us.
I hate that big ass.
That was a pivotal drive.
That fat.
I'm so mad that they were up 10-0 and they got outscored 23-6 in the second half.
But 10-0 is not gonna.
No, it's not gonna do it. But the fact that you got outscored freaking 17 points in the second half.
Yeah, but that's how you lose. Very often early in the season last year, they got up not by much, and then the other team came back. Luckily, that they were willing enough to win the game, but just didn't happen today.
My take about the offense was I felt like throughout the first half and even in the second half, I felt like they were just waiting for things to come to them as it came last year. I felt like they had a little bit of an arrogance to them, like, damn, the flea flicker didn't work. Well, next drive we'll make it work.
Definitely a humbling experience.
Yeah, like, these short passes to Beasley are working, but let's try something completely different. Or let's not go back. I feel like they didn't do this at all. Let's not go back to the deep ball after the Emmanuel Sanders play. Like, listen, I said to Jake, John Brown catches that pass. I think Emmanuel Sanders needs to be a little faster, and that's a good pass. No one else was catching it except this guy.
He had him beat.
Pretty good. But it's a mix of Josh Allen was a little overthrown with the excitement, he was wide fucking open too, so it's a mix. But I do think a faster guy like John Brown catches that play.
Or Manuel Sanders 3 years younger.
That's what I said. I'm literally after that.
Well, the good news is we are on to Miami now.
On to Miami, baby.
And Josh Allen has great games against Miami.
That would be really nice to get back to that. Oh, MVP. I told you guys, don't jinx it.
And
The stadium broke out with an MVP chant when he came out today. I cringed.
did he acknowledge it?
He was just high-fiving people. I just think that was just a very, very bold move.
I think there might be something to what you said about playing in front of fans. It's the same adage that like defenses were awful last year because of the no fans. So last year could have been an exception. Not saying the Bills aren't good. I think
Imagine that being the exception. Would you tell the Bills to, hey, home games, no fans,
Our new
I'll pay
stadium
for
has
the-
no fucking.
no seats? It's like a middle school gymnasium. The coaches can sit on the sidelines. Yeah, I'd pay for my seat still, but I don't want anyone else to go.
Sounds good.
Well, let us know your thoughts, guys, in the comment section.
See you Thursday morning. Mike Atwood, if you're still watching, let me know what you thought of the game, dude. We gotta get that down.
And Raul.
Raul Dukes. Take care, guys. Have a good week.